لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بلغ رسالته وأدى الأمانة نصح الأمة جاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد أما بعد. Yesterday, بين المغرب والعشاء on 23rd of May 2017, we introduced Ramadan as-Siyam, or we introduced fasting, and also we covered part of Fadlu Siyam, the benefits and virtues of fasting. And of course, part of it was left. Part of the virtues, and I introduced the book known as Mawsu'atul Fiqhiyya al-Muyassara في فقه الكتاب والسنة المطهرة. Hussein bin Awla is the author of the book. There are 6 to 7 volumes within that. Very good book of fiqh. I'm encouraging any student of knowledge, inshallah, to buy the book. It's very good. Now, I can order it for you. We can do business, inshallah. Now, I don't know if they have translated it. I will find out, inshallah. But it is very, very, very important. Very important. For those who speak Arabic, I'm very sure that the effort has been made to translate the book in English. I will let you know that you will see. Inshallah. We stopped at hadith narrated by Abi Sa'id al-Khudri رضي الله عنه قال سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من صام يوما في سبيل الله بعد الله وجهه عن النار 70 خريفا. That whosoever fasts just for a day, one day for the sake of Allah, you fast only for a day for the sake of Allah, what is your reward? بَعَدَ اللَّهُ وَجْهَهُ عَنِ النَّارِ 70 خَرِيفًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep you away from Jahannam a distance of how many years? 70 years non-stop. 70 years. That is sacrificing a day by fasting for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What about if you kept Yawm al-Ithnain wal-Khamis throughout the year? What about if you fasted Ayyam al-Bid, 3 white days, the 13th, 14th, and 15th? What about if you even fasted? There is Siyam, I call it Siyam al-Majaa. You know, you wake up early in the morning, you didn't eat anything before qabla dukhul al-fajr, and then you ask your wife, is there some milk at home? I need some shai. And she says, we don't have anything. Immediately, even though you did not make niyyah, okay, the previous night you can say, I'm fasting. And there's no food at home, you don't complain a lot. I don't know what is happening. What is happening in my life? This is for breakfast, lack of breakfast. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked Aisha radiallahu anha, do we have something? Do we have some food? And Aisha radiallahu anha says, we do not have any food. ثم Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال فإني صائم, I'm fasting. There is such fasting, even though you did not make or traveling in the world today that takes you around for 70 years non-stop. What about if you make it the second day of Ramadan, third day of Ramadan, 10th day? How far are you going to be from Jannah? ونسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يدخلنا الجنة. نسأل الله أن يدخلنا الجنة. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to admit us in Jannah, inshallah. Remember, when we talk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeping you or protecting you from Jahannam for a distance of 70 years, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. People are talking about success. We have temporary success in this world. Getting a good job, getting a wife, making money, mashallah, having limo, mashallah, and all this. This is temporary success. Temporary. And then coming real success, which is that on the day of Qiyamah. On the day of Qiyamah. ثُمَّ نُنَجِّي الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about saving those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ. As for those who are protected, those who are kept away from Jahannam وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ, and that they are admitted in Jannah, فَقَدْ فَازَ. Those have indeed succeeded. فَقَدْ نعم, they have indeed succeeded. فلذلك when Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said بَعَدَ اللَّهُ وَجْهَهُ عَنِ النَّارِ 70 خَلِيفَةً, that if you fast for one day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep you away, will protect you from Jahannam a distance of 70 years. You have to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to include you to be among al-najideen wal-faizeen wal-muflihin. You are in the zumrah of al-muflihun, the successful ones. وَنَسْأَلُ اللَّهَ أَن يَجْعَلَنَا مِنْهُمْ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ. I emphasize on this hadith because we know Ramadan comes. If you remember when I visited you some time back, before I took the position, I said that when Ramadan comes, there are how many types of people? Abbas? Nah? 4. One of these people is a person who is so sick now. He builds sickness and laziness now. Seeing that Ramadan may start on the eve of Asad, I will add, right? Oh, he's not himself. He's not happy. Because all that he thinks of is, he's not going to drink water. He's not going to fill his stomach. He's not going to eat. I'm going to be tired. Hey, somebody said, did you see the sun today? You mean the whole Ramadan is going to be like that? Sheikh make dua. The sun also doesn't make him happy. He say, Wallah, if I can move maybe to another state where it's a little bit cold. How many hours are you fasting? For how many? He say, I wish when I was in Sudan, mashallah, or when I was in Kenya or Somalia, or Philistine, it was good, mashallah, 12 hours away. It's not easy in America. 16 hours. Like in Nasrullah as-salam. He complained, then he said, Nasrullah as-salam. He is very weak. When a mu'min fulfill the commandment of Allah, when you fulfill that, you must be happy. Secondly, when you are given tawfiq to reach another Ramadan, you should be happy. Ramadan to Ramadan. Hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as-salawatu al-khams wal-jumu'atu الجمعة ورمضان إلى رمضان مكفرات ما بينهن ما لم يؤت الكبائر أو ماذا إن اجتنبت الكبائر أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. 5 prayers that you perform every day, Jumu'ah until another Jumu'ah, Ramadan, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you to observe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enables you as a mercy, as a rahmah from Him to be part of the previous Ramadan, and then He doesn't take you away. You don't die, you don't become sick, you do not become weak. Yeah, you are not among those who are excused from fasting. You find that you are still healthy. Now, you have a siha tamma, al-afiyah. You are healthy. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enables you to catch another Ramadan. You know what happens between Ramadan and Ramadan? Mukaffiratun ma baynahun. Just the fact that you fasted in the previous Ramadan and this Ramadan, the sins committed in between there are forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on condition that major sins are avoided. لأن كبائر الذنوب تحتاج إلى ماذا؟ التوبة النصوحة. Major sins necessitates for a tawbah nasuha, sincere repentance. ولذلك you should be happy. And then you become part of that Ramadan. You know what happens in the first night? We will come to those ahadith inshallah. First night, before you even fast, just the first night, min ghurub ash-shams, something very special is taking place, and I will come to that. Another hadith, ahbab, is hadith narrated by Abu Umama, by Abi Umama radiyallahu anhu, عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال, that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, من صام يوما في سبيل الله. Another hadith, whosoever fasts for how long? يوما, one day, في سبيل الله, for the sake of Allah, for the sake of Allah, in the cause of Allah, in the path of Allah, one day, جعل الله بينه وبين النار خندقا. خندقا. Who remembers Ghazwatul Khandaq? What is the second name of Ghazwatul Khandaq? Now? Now, Jazakallah. Ghazwatul Ahzab is also known as Ghazwatul Khandaq. So, whosoever fasts for one day for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make baynahu wa bayna an-nari khandaqa. Between him and Jahannam, Allah will make a khandaq. What is a khandaq? A trench. You know a trench? A trench, a hole, yani a gap between you and Jahannam, a rift between you and Jahannam. What is the distance of that khandaq? Listen to this. كما بين السماء والأرض. كما بين السماء والأرض. الله أكبر. And one day, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to make khandaq. Khandaq, a trench, a rift. Between you and Jahannam is there. Now, the distance is ماذا؟ كما بين السماء والأرض. The second hadith says that بعد الله وجهه عن النار 70 خريفا. 70 years of traveling. That is the distance. If you sacrifice, if you make intention, if you commit to fast and you fast one day for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the second one, the gap is so big, Allah is going to keep you away. Allah is going to save you away from Jahannam, a distance of كما بين السماء والأرض. Yani, you have succeeded. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you a guarantee. One day, what about second day? What about third day? What about 15th day? What about كما بين السماء والأرض. And I want to put something, I want to remind myself and remind you of something. في آية, there's آية في سورة مريم. I have this here. This ayah is ayah number 71 في سورة مريم. I just think of it now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا. What is the end of that? كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا ثُمَّ نُنَجِّي الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا. That follows the ayah. Yani there is none amongst you. There is none except that he will have to cross on Sirat. المتن المنسوب على ماذا؟ على متن جهنم. It is الجسم منسوب على متن جهنم. الجسم المنسوب على متن جهنم. No one amongst us except that he has to cross on Sirat. Now Sirat, under Sirat there are 7 holes of Jahannam under Sirat. Others will cross Al-Bab, others will cross Al-Kamala, closing eyes and opening. Others will cross doing what? Dragging their back on the ground, crawling. It depends. Think of this is the Jisr and Jahannam is down. There are hooks and sharp objects which will be pulling Jahannamiyun. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, nobody will think of anybody else except himself. Everybody will be saying nafsi, nafsi. Like in Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, whenever he tried to cross, he will hold. Now, on Sirat saying, Allahumma sallim, Allahumma sallim. And Rasul will even remember you when nobody else is going to remember you, apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we talk of this masafat, think of al-murur al-sirat. And that siyam can be one of, sabab min al-asbab. It can be one of the reasons that will make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you to do what? To cross on as-sirat. بعد الله وجهه عن النار 70 خريفا. Another hadith says جعل الله بينه وبين النار خندقا كما بين السماء والأرض. One day for the sake of والله يعني في الصيام لذة وفي الصيام حلاوة وفي الصيام راحة وفي الصيام التمتع وفي الصيام رحمة وفي الصيام مغفرة وفي الصيام بركة. سبحان الله. الصحابة رضوان الله عليهم coming down to Salaf al-Salih, righteous predecessors, كانوا يستعدون لرمضان. They used to prepare for Ramadan for how long? 6 months before it starts. Not like us. When is Ramadan? Somebody doesn't even know. 6 months they were preparing. They were preparing. They were eager to receive Ramadan. Then after Ramadan, they were asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for acceptance for another 6 months. Yet in the whole year they were in the mood of Ramadan. As I said, some of us are very inshallah when it comes to inshallah. والله لو سافرت في العالم، لو زرت القرى والمدن، لو قابلت المساكين والفقراء, you will say alhamdulillah. The dollars that you have in your pocket now, the money that you have and the food and what, there are people who loves fasting. They do not know what they will eat in the whole Ramadan. Some of us have already prepared dates and you choose, is it called what? Sukkari, or milhi? I don't know if there is milhi, but there is sukkari. Somebody has already ordered dates for 30 days. Somebody has ordered, I don't know what of zaytun just for cooking. Somebody says, inshallah, after this man is going to slaughter how many goats and how many lambs? And inshallah on the Eid I have to kill an animal, Eid al-Fitr. He has to eat the whole cow, mashallah. There are people who are crying, Ya Allah, Allahumma ballighni Ramadan. This person doesn't know. Look at the water that is coming in the look at what we have. They told me that this is for Ramadan. I don't know why you bring it here. They said this is for Ramadan. There are people who do not have this water. Even the rivers that they tap from is dry now. لكن المخلصين تجدهم مخلصين. يعني they are asking Allah not for food, not for tamr. There are people who don't see tamr, they don't see it throughout their life. They are breaking fast with banana and mouse. Wallahi, you go to the masjid, they drink water, salty water in the iftar. You and me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala qad an'amana thumma latus'alunna yawma'idhin 'anil na'im. We should be so happy that food is never a problem. We are even arguing, should we bring food to the masjid or not? Should we feed people or not? Yeah, the food is everywhere. Allahu Akbar. Do you know that in America, Ramadan comes, there are food in some places that they don't know where to distribute. I can think of Syria, and part of Sudan, and part of Myanmar, and think of Philippines, think of part of Egypt now, think of Libya, think of all these people there, think of Oromoland now. What is the situation? Think of part of Afghanistan and Pakistan. Children who had parents, they had mashallah, they were living in Qusur. They do not know whether they are homeless. They are living in mukhayyamat. Ramadan is coming. Yani what excuse do we have of not receiving Ramadan with happiness? What excuse do you have? If you are not tells that, it's going to be very difficult. فَفِي قَلْبِكَ مَرَضٌ. You have disease in your heart. If your mind tells you maybe it's going to be too hard, Shaitan is talking to you. You need to say, فَإِمَّا يَزَغَنَّكَ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ نَزْغٌ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ. You need to repel Shaitan, because Shaitan is cheating you, Shaitan is deceiving you when you have no any excuse of fasting for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. من صام يوما في سبيل الله جعل الله بينه وبين النار خندقا كما بين السماء والأرض. You fast one day for the sake of Allah. What about 40 days? Yani 30 days. What about throughout the year? Sunan and Nawafil. What about you fast one day for the sake of Allah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make between you and Jahannam al-Khandaq. What is Khandaq? A trench, a hole, a barrier, a rift, the extent of kama bayna as-sama'i wal ardh, a distance of the heavens and earth. Another hadith, ahbab wa anhu, yani an Abi Umama radiyallahu anhu, anna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qala, alayka bil hijrati, fa innahu la mithla laha. That are the heir to migration. For there is nothing like migrating for the sake of Allah. Migrate for the sake of al-hijrah. There is a hadith that some people have confused. When Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, La hijrata ba'da al-fath. Yani ba'da fath al-Makkah. What he meant was there was no need of everybody leaving his home going to Medina. Because at that time, hijrah was only towards one place, Medina. And from Makkah, وَلَكِنْ جِهَادٌ وَنِيَّةٌ. And then he said jihad and niyyah. So somebody said, but according to this hadith, there is no hijrah. There are many other hadith emphasizing on hijrah. Hijrah continues until when sun will rise from the west. Hijrah is part of our deen. Hijrah is part of our sharia. That when you cannot worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a place, when you are losing your family in a place, when your children have started being atheists, and your children have started refusing to pray, and you see some changes in your wife, she want to become Mrs. Dunya more than Akhir, and you see the husband has now started becoming confusing, becoming ilman. He started asking questions like, I'm doubting Quran. He came without knowledge. He went to DU or CU. He got some knowledge. Bachelor's, Masters. He's now a professor. He started questioning Quran. Please don't live in that place. Make hijrah. When you start losing your kids, you start losing your wife, you start losing your husband, you cannot worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As much as you give them dunya, there is no akhirah in your home. Hijrah becomes obligatory upon you. Leave that place, go to a place where you can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if malaika comes, malakul maut, and he takes your soul and you die in that state, listen to the ayah, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَوَفَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ ظَالِمِي أَنفُسِهِمْ قَالُوا فِيمَ كُنْتُمْ قَالُوا كُنَّا مُسْتَضْعَفِينَ فِي الْأَرْضِ قالوا ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها. Somebody say, can you show me where is Dawlatul Islamiyya? Yeah, you don't need to go to Dawlatul Islamiyya. It can be in Denver, in Texas. If there is a good environment for your kids in Texas here, where there is madrasa or madaris Islamiyya, Islamic schools, where there is a good environment, please move. It can be outside America. It can be inside, it can be outside. Somebody say, yeah, condition of hijrah is that you have to go to Dawlatul Islamiyya where there is Khalifa. Let us reason together. When Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam migrated, لما هاجر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من مكة إلى المدينة، أكانت المدينة دولة الإسلامية. When he left Mecca to Medina, was Medina Islamic State? No. Who was living in Medina? Majority. Non-Muslims, من اليهود. قبائل. الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أرسل أو بعث أو حرض أو حث. He encouraged Sahaba to migrate to Habasha. أكانت الحبشة دولة الإسلامية. فلذلك تعريف of where you migrate is a place you migrate from, a place where you are not free to worship Allah. You cannot worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala easily, or a place where you are losing your iman to a place where you can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without any persecution. If you get al-bid'ah al-Islamiyya is better. If you can get Islamic environment is better than any other bid'ah, because your family will listen to, they will hear adhan and iqamah, yani loudly. They will see the madahib, you know, Muslimun, they will see hijab, you know, they will see this. Less will they see khumur, yani being sold and riba, you know, so that is good. But suppose you cannot find that. It does not become an excuse of not making what? Hijrah. Some Muslims, mashallah, have started migrating from Denver to other places, or other places maybe to Denver. Please, 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 you have to run away with your deen to save the family. It can be in Texas, it can be in New York, it can be in California, it can be travel in America first. You will find there are many good things taking place. Before you think of, oh, let me take my child to Jordan, or you may go outside America and you find that the environment is worse than what you left in America. Sorry? Everybody, every child wants to be yo-yo now, yo. Everywhere. Every child wants to twist his, you know. Everywhere in Mecca, you find this yo-yo type of kids, you know. If you go to Kenya, so you need to be very, very al-muhim. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال عليك بالهجرة فإنه لا مثل له. Adhere to hijrah. Now, for it has no what? It has no its life. There is no life of hijrah. عليك بالصوم فإنه لا مثل له. Also adhere and commit and participate in fasting, for it has no likeness when it comes to al-ajr. عليك بالسجود. عليك بالسجود. عليك بالسجود. عليك بالسجود فإنك لا تسجد لله سجدة إلا رفعك الله بها درجة وحط عنك بها خطيئة. One sajda. Do you know the importance of one sajda? One sajda. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying, adhere, be committed in prostrating, in falling down in prostration to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَإِنَّكَ لَا تَسْجُدُ لِلَّهِ سَجْدَةً. For you do not, verily, فَإِنَّكَ لَا تَسْجُدُ لِلَّهِ سَجْدَةً. For you do not fall in prostration for the sake of Allah. Just one prostration. How many sajdat are in every rak'ah? As-salawat al-khams, rak'atayn. Yani rak'ah, you find sajdatain, right? Rak'ah sajdatain. Just one. Do you know what it answers you? Before you raise your head after one, إِلَّا رَفَعَكَ اللَّهُ بِهَا دَرَجَةً. One sajda becomes the means of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevating you and raising you in darajat fil Jannah. Darajat in Jannah. وَحَطَّ عَنْكَ بِهَا خَطِيئَةً. Also just one sajda becomes the means of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala erasing your sins. One sajda. What about sajdatan? What about two sajdas? What about many sujood? فلذلك الصحابي who used to serve the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Sahaba used to say, I'm going to stay around the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tonight just to guard it. I'm going to stay closer to the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to prepare what? Al-Wadhu. And in the previous durus I asked the difference between Al-Wudhu and Wadhu. The Dhamma and the Fatha. Al-Wudhu, Wudhu is the fi'l. Al-Wadhu is the water that you are using to perform Wudhu. Al-Wadhu, bil Fatha. He said that I used to prepare Al-Wadhu for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I used to keep water ready, that when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam want to perform Wudhu, he finds it ready. And also I used to hang around his house. If he needs anything, I would serve him. Now I'm not recruiting you to do that to my house. Guys, but if you want to do that, we're going to have camera, inshallah. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came out, and when Rasul came out, seeing his efforts and his sacrifices and his commitment, subhanallah, look at how Sahaba loved Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I'm going to stay around the house of Rasul. I'm going to prepare water for wudu. They knew that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam loved performing wudu. So I prepare wudu and wudu. I'm hanging around the house of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In case he needs something, he's going to send me and I'm going to serve him. Tayyib Rasul came out and asked him, ask me for anything. Ask me for anything. What if Rasul gives you that chance, what would you ask him today? Economy is not good, right? Recession. Everybody want to buy a house. Everybody want to become a billionaire. $1 million, that was a dream of some 50 years ago. $1 million in America was a big thing. Nobody wants to be a millionaire, he wants to be a billionaire. Sahih, Rasul is giving you chance and ask me for anything. Yeah. This Sahabi told the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, listen to the level of Iman of Sahaba. He said, Inni as'aluka murafaqataka fil Jannah. Ya Rasulullah, I have one request. I'm asking to accompany you, to be next to you should think big in terms of what they want. Iman takes you to another level. This Sahabi is smart enough. He knows that if he can be beside Rasul, he has automatic ticket. So he did not ask, I just want to be in Jannah. He said, Inni as'aluka murafaqataka fil Jannah. We meet with leaders, CSE, politicians. What do we tell them? We have an obligation in this land. If you meet with Inshallah President Trump, give him that to be a Muslim. Don't just criticize it. We are only taking one side. Oh, but what about his Islam? Who tells you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may not guide him to Islam? And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide him to say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and that White House is giving Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim from White House, isn't it a great thing? And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam istahdafa al-muluk wal-ru'asa. He targeted these leaders. Ama katab al-rasali, ama wajah al-khitab ila al-muluk wal-ru'asa. Did Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam send letters and Sahaba, some of them were killed. Mr. If I can get a green card, I will really pray for you. Thank you very much. No doubt. No doubt. Why you get a green card and then you get citizenship. Then what? One meeting with this person you do not know. فلذلك I was in a masjid before I came here, and a mayor came to the masjid of Juma. We invited him, and towards the end of my khutbah, I invited him to Islam. I told him it's easy for you. People ask me, Imam, what is wrong with you? Do you know what you are doing? I say, I know exactly. I know what I was doing. Are you not afraid? Mayor did not complain, but a Muslim complained in the masjid. That is how lowliness we are. Man, it's in our mouth. May Allah guide us that la ilaha illallah saying in our heart. Yeah, I need it again here. Remember? Yeah, who came and I invited them to Islam. Why not? Yeah. It was a miracle for some Muslims here. It was like mu'jiza. Yeah, the qit'a min as-sahab falling from the sky. It is like a portion of the cloud from Imam. Hadi. We have the obligation. Al-Muhim, I want to go back. The Sahabi asking Rasulullah for what? Inni as'aluka murafaqataka fil Jannah. There's an example that I'm not going to forget. I'm doing da'wah in a country called Namibia, in Africa. And I told a brother that I wish if President Bush can become a Muslim. He told me now, Imam, I've been listening to you, I love you, but on this, I differ with you. By your mother, he said, who? George Bush. Don't you know what happened in Iraq? Islam is full. We have closed the door of Islam. Bush has no. He said, no, sorry. Any other person we can open. But him, the house of Islam is closed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول في سورة النحل ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بمن اهتدى. It's not you just invite to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows who is guided and who is misguided. فلذلك we need to change our way a little bit, and we need to change our reasoning. It's not all about la'natullahi alayhi, but it remains that Abu Sufyan was arch enemy of Islam. لكن Abu Sufyan mata Musliman, but a Sahabi. Yes or no? Sahaba, radiyallahu anhu. Umar bin Khattab. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had to make a special dua. Allahumma a'izz al-Islam بأحد العمرين. نعم. Cheney, wa Condoleezza Rice, wa Bush, wa Clinton. Why not? Why not? If it was dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then you find President Trump coming here in Thawb. And we elect him to be the chairman of this masjid. Allah Akbar. Allah. It's possible, Sahih. As-Sahabi asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam when Rasul told him, ask me for anything. فَقَالَ إِنِّي أَسْأَلُكَ مُرَافَقَتَكَ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. Ya Rasulullah, I have one request. I want to accompany you. I want to be your companion. I want to be next to you in Jannah on the day of prayer. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him, أَوَ غَيْرَ ذَلِكَ. No. No, Abdul Rashid is showing me. No. أَوَ غَيْرَ ذَلِكَ. Rasul asked the Sahabi, don't you have something else, anything else to ask for? فَقَالَ هُوَ ذَلِكَ. He said, only that, Ya Rasulullah. Subhanallah. Can you imagine? قَالَ هُوَ ذَلِكَ. He said, only that, Ya Rasulullah. Yet, what was more precious to Sahaba than sitting next to Rasul in dunya and akhirah? Sahih? So Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam then told him, فَأَعِنِّي عَلَى نَفْسِكَ بِكَثْرَةِ السُّجُودِ. If you want to be my companion in Jannah, help me with one thing. You help me yourself with making a lot of prostration, a lot of بِكَثْرَةِ السُّجُودِ. Help me, then inshallah Allah will make it easy for you to sit next to me in Jannah. Do not ignore sujood. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala an'amaka bis-sihha wal-afiyah. You see your back, you can bend and sahih. There's a day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول يوم يكشف عن ساق ويدعون إلى ماذا؟ إلى السجود فلا يستطيعون. You have opportunity 5 times every day and more. قيام الليل, نعم, صلاة الضحى, قبلية وبعدية, those 12 rak'at, before and after salah, many nawafil, one sajda. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, فَإِنَّكَ لَا تَسْجُدُوا لِلَّهِ سَجْدَةً إِلَّا رَفَعَكَ اللَّهُ بِهَا دَرَجَةً وَحَطَّ عَنْكَ بِهَا خَطِيئَةً. Yani when you make one sajda, you only prostrate, you fall down in prostration to make one sajda, it adds you what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises you by that sajda in darajat, darajat. Takes you to another level in Jannah, but at the same time your sins are erased and forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. عن عبد الله بن عمرو, how many minutes?
15.
15, mashallah. عن عبد الله بن عمرو رضي الله عنهما أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الصيام والقرآن يشفعان للعبد يوم القيامة. Siyam, that you fast, and Quran that you read, Quran that you learn to read, Quran that you bring closer to you, Quran you read it, Quran that you learn, Quran that you teach, Quran that you convey. Now, Quran, you learn and you teach, you learn and you implement. Quran, these two things, يَشْفَعَانِ لِلْعَبْدِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, will intercede. You will relax. Quran is coming and As-Siyam is coming, and they are interceding with Allah. They will be talking to Allah on your behalf on the day of Qiyamah. Oh Allah, forgive him. Oh Allah, have mercy on him. And according to Hadith, they will be talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah. One of the problems today is that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Nisa, chapter 4, ayah number 41, that a day is coming when we will bring فَكَيْفَ إِذَا أمة بشهيد وجئنا بك على هؤلاء شهيدا. If you remember hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said that I was sitting in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then he told me, Iqra alayya al-Quran. He told me, recite Quran for me. فقلت أقرأ عليك يا رسول الله أقرأ عليك وعليك أنزل. Are you asking me to recite Quran on you or for you? Well, Quran was revealed on you يا رسول الله. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إني أحب أن أسمعه من غيري. التواضع of Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said me, that is true that Quran was revealed on me. I received it to convey it. But yet, I love hearing or listening to Quran recited by other than me. That is tawadu. A child can recite Surah Al-Ikhlas. What is the condition when that child is reciting Quran now? فَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا. Listen and zip your mouth. Listen and keep quiet. لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. That for sure if you listen and you are quiet, you will be, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you. Allah will have mercy on you. When Quran is recited, it doesn't matter who is reciting it. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told Ibn Mas'ud, اقرأ علي القرآن. فقال يعني إني أحب أن أسمعه من غيري. قال فقرأت سورة النساء. I recited Surah An-Nisa until I reached this ayah. فكيف إذا جئنا من كل أمة بشهيد وجئنا بك على هؤلاء شهيدا. How is it going to be? On the day when we will bring for every ummah they will be shaheed. Every prophet is going to be shaheed for his ummah. وَجِئْنَا بِكَ عَلَى هَؤُلَاءِ شَهِيدًا. And that will bring you as a witness over your ummah. He says that when I read that ayah, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told me, حَسْبُكَ الْآن. Yeah, is enough, don't continue. He said when I turned toward Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَإِذَا عَيْنَاهُ تَذْرِفَانِ. I found that the eyes of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam were full of tears. Tears, he was crying. Now, somebody may say, why should Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam cry? Why? On the day of Qiyamah, Rasul is going to give the following witness. وقال الرسول يا رب إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. Oh Allah, verily my ummah, my people migrated this Quran. The music industry is very high now, whether in Somali, in Oromo, in Arabic, from Sudan to Egypt, whether in English, and if you cannot sing some songs, there's some songs of if you cannot sing, Habibi ya Nur al-Ain, if you cannot sing some songs, you are left behind. People are going crazy. Sweating. Somebody is walking outside here like a crazy. People love music more than Quran. People memorize music more than Quran. People they spend more time to memorize albums, music after music, song. This is the latest. This is that. They know the names from 5 cents to 50 cents to I don't know Snoop Dogg to whatever dog. To I don't know who and who to. Yani your life is this. Your life is this. This is your life. Now suppose you die in this state. You know that you will be resurrected like this in front of Allah. You die abusing alcohol, you will be resurrected like that. You die committing zina, you will be resurrected like that. You have to choose a path. And Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is going to say, وَقَالَ Rasul. Rasul is giving his testimony in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Rabb, oh Allah, إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. You brought the Quran. I conveyed, beloved. But my people migrated the Quran. I want to ask you a question. Some people are still arguing, is music haram, halal? Music is haram. What makes it halal? What makes it halal? Especially the music that we have now, and the way they are dancing, and the ikhtilat, and the wordings in this music, ya akhi. You cannot mix Quran and music in the chest of a movie. You cannot say that I'm going to have both. Now some people are very smart. I have a friend, when he has Muslims, he has CDs going away now, but he has CDs. When they have Muslims, Quran. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. When Muslims goes, you find him with music. So I caught him one day. When he had the opposite, he said, Sheikh, forgive me. I said, yeah, you don't forgive me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you haven't understood the concept of al-ihsan, sahih? Al-ihsan doesn't need people around you. Al-ihsan, when Jibril alayhi salam asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam about 5 questions, and one of them, أخبرني عن الإحسان, قال الإحسان أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. إن الله لا يخفى عليه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء يعلم ما تسرون وما تعلنون. Allah knows. You don't need to hide, because people don't see you, people are seeing you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing you. The problem is Quran has been migrated by many. We read big novels, big books, we have memorized this, and يعلمون ظاهرا من الحياة الدنيا. Yani people knows about dunya. He can tell you about dunya is this and this and that, which is good. وهم عن الآخرة هم غافلون. But when it comes to akhirah, they're ghafil. They're heedless. They don't know much about when we should have been preparing for akhirah. Ahbab, one of the preparation of akhirah, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qala as-siyamu, fasting is coming. Wal-Qur'anu, and Qur'an we have. Qur'an that you recite, salah, Qur'an that you recite at home, Qur'an that you recite in your car, wherever you are, Qur'an that you have to recite in Ramadan, inshallah, shahr al-Qur'an. يشفعان للعبد يوم القيامة. There will be no lawyer Muhammad. There will be no judge. There will be no this dunya Supreme Court. There will be no so-called lawmakers and whatever. لمن الملك اليوم لله الواحد القهار. Quran is gonna come. Siyam is gonna come. They will tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I will conclude with this hadith. يقول الصيام, fasting will talk, will say, أي رب, it will say, oh Allah, منعته الطعام والشهوة. He committed, he observed me, and so I prevented him from eating and even fulfilling his desires. He left his wife or his husband because of me. Ya Allah, he did not drink because of, for your sake, because of me. منعته ماذا؟ الطعام والشهوة. فشفعني فيه. Oh Allah, I'm requesting that you forgive him for my sake. ويقول القرآن, Allah says Quran is going to speak, is going to talk to Allah. منعته النوم بالليل. Ya Allah, everybody loves sleeping, but I prevented him from sleeping at night. He recited Al-Quran. فشفعني فيه. Oh Allah, I'm asking that you forgive him. Ya Allah, I'm asking that you cover him by your mercy. Ya Allah, admit him in Jannah because of me, for your sake. فَيُشَفَّعَانِ. Hadith says that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you your sins, and Allah will cover you by His mercy, and you will be admitted in Jannah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to admit us in Jannah. Please, brothers, encourage families. The language in our homes should be Ramadan and Siyam. Wa ahkam Siyam. Al-Isti'dad al-Siyam. We need to talk the language of Siyam and Fadl Siyam. Let us take Islam back to the time of Sahaba. You know the difference before I conclude? The difference today is that when you go back home, what is the story between you and your wife? And when Sahaba went home, they were teachers. They were ambassadors of Rasulullah. ما الدليل على ذلك؟ الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم addressed Sahaba in more than one occasion and told them, ليبلغ الشاهد الغائب. Sahaba understood this and they took it seriously. Let those who are present convey this message to those who are absent. The first absentee in your life as a husband is your wife, Sahih. They understood Sahaba, يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا. The first ahl is who? Your wife. They understood that. فلذلك any hadith, any good news that they had from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when they went home, they told their wife, this is the ayah that has been revealed. This is the hadith that we have from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do we have these stories at home today? We have the screen that covers the whole wall, the screen. Everybody has his own remote control. And nowadays with technology, you can control yours and she controls hers. Everybody has a laptop at home. You have a laptop, it's on, cell phone is on, this is on. Wife has hers, she has her laptop. You have your laptop, your children are. People don't even talk together. People don't even eat together from one table. Homes where people eat 3 meals together, alhamdulillah, that is inshallah. People don't talk. Everybody is busy with. Inshallah, let us revive our homes with Quran. Let us revive our homes with dhikr. Let us revive our homes with ta'aleem. And let us introduce and establish what learning. Please have library at home. One of the ways of preparation for Ramadan is that you introduce a library. A small library in your corner. Select books. It's not late. Something on Hayat al-Sahaba, something on Qasas al-Anbiya, something on Tafsir of the Surah, short surahs, something on fiqh, something on Aqidah. Say that we want to study as a family. Sahih? Once for 30 minutes, kida, we want to learn once a week. Please revive your home and make it alive. فَأَوَمَا كَانَ مَيِّتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ كَمَنْ مَثَلُهُ فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ لَيْسَ بِخَارِجٍ مِنْهَا. We have nur, but we took this nur and we put it in our pocket. We don't share it with our family, with our children, with our husbands, with people around us. We need to talk about Islam. We should be proud of Islam, but of all, Ramadan is coming. Prepare for Ramadan. ونسأل الله أن يبلغنا رمضان. الحمد لله رب العالمين. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.